Max has completely broken time, which has separated her from Chloe. Can she find a way home, finally? This is the Comicstorian channel, where I take some of your favorite comic books, single issues, trade paperbacks, whatever's out there, and I break them down into digestible bites. I create a narrative summary of the storylines as they exist. Today we're going to be bringing you Life is Strange Volume 3. Due to a series of publication delays, this book took forever to come out, which then eventually led to us delaying getting it out on the channel until another Life is Strange piece of news came out. What this series is continues the story of Max and Chloe. And the first 2 episodes, which I'll link down below, told the story of how Max wanted Chloe to be happy. So she decided to let Chloe live out her life and not be affected by Max. In order to find a reality where Chloe was happy, she jumped into the nexus of realities and began to bounce around alternate realities to see different lives where Chloe was happier than where she is right now. She ended up in a world where Rachel didn't die, and she kind of became friends with Chloe and Rachel. But there was always that nagging thought in the back of her head that her Chloe back in her reality missed her. And when we last left off, she finally explained everything to Chloe and Rachel. So now it's time for Max to find a way home. If you enjoy this video, please give this video a like, and consider checking out our Patreon, where you too can vote on the comic books coming to this channel on a monthly basis. But a video like this isn't going to do that well without your support, so please give this video a like and tell your friends. Alright, let's get into Life is Strange, Volume 3. The room fills with silence as Chloe and Rachel stare at Max. Chloe breaks that silence by stating, "Well, damn, when you said you wanted to talk, I don't where do we start?" Rachel then yells, "Wait, so I'm dead where you come from? You and I never met because I'm dead?" Max sighs, telling her that this is so much to take in. There's a good reason why she waited so long to be able to talk about it. She hardly even believes it. It's like this has all been a bad dream. Chloe laughs, telling her she kind of wants to say stop playing. But it's also crazy that it kind of makes sense, especially after seeing Tristan disappear and reappear again. Tristan tries telling her that he calls it disengaging and he doesn't really know how to explain it. Chloe tells him whatever he wants to call it, they saw it. He actually did whatever, which means that Max is... It's strange to have your best friend abandon you once only to turn up years later on the beach. Christ! How has this whole life been a lie? Max interrupts her. No, not at all. Not most of it anyway, but instead of just finding you on the beach, I searched through all of reality to find a place where you were happy. But in order to find you, I had to leave another Chloe behind. And right now I have to get back to her. Somehow. Chloe asks, "You want to go away again?" And Max yells, "I'm not even sure it's still possible. I love it here, but there's another Chloe Price that was left behind, who I loved in the world that we had made together." Chloe gets up pacing, telling her that she gets it. There was always something different about her. Not bad different, just different. It doesn't matter if she's not the same old Maxine. I wish that was enough. But I'm not alone here, and the other Chloe does need her Max. As Chloe hugs Max, Rachel's phone begins to ring and she takes the call in the other room. With just the 3 of them, Chloe asks, "What the actual hell?" Tristan tells her that they don't fully understand it either, but from what they've gathered, there are threads that are connecting these parallel realities. These parallel strings connect to these threads, weaving between our realities and the alternatives that we... What? Max and Chloe begin to laugh, stating that he sounds just like someone that they used to know. Tristan then gets up, telling everyone that it looks like they're all on the same page, but he's in a whole different book. They should probably go. This cross-reality nostalgia trip is probably not the best time to throw out wild theories. But while Max and Chloe begin to sit and reminisce, Chloe gets a text from Rachel stating that she is giving them some time to talk. She'll be at Paul's. Over at the cafe, Rachel sighs after sending her text while hanging out with Tammy and the others from the high seas while they rehearse. She looks out the window and she hears a glass set on the table as Dex sits down, telling her that he's glad that she stopped by. She's looking a bit down though. "Do you need a face to shout words at, Rachel?" She says that she's been thinking about the places where their lives branch out. Like, what kind of life would she have had if she had made different choices? But before she could go further, Dwight says that he's sorry to interrupt, but he's gonna steal Dex here to actually play. As the band sets up, Tammy shouts, "Good evening, Florida!" Paul says that she knows they're in Santa Monica, right? And Tammy tells him that she knows she's just practicing for their East Coast greetings next month. Rachel asks, "Florida?" And Tammy says, yep, we're booked at some arts festival thingy. Get a road trip there. So Rachel jumps up asking, is the festival called Art of the Sea? And Dwight says that would be the one. No way! I'm doing that festival too. It's a part of my tour. Just then Max and Chloe walk in and Max tells her, I'm going with you. Yep, me and my superstar girlfriend hitting the road. Pixie then shouts, asking, does this mean that we're gonna have a Florida meetup? With that, the hugs go around and everyone gets ready. The next day over at Chloe's shop, she brings Rachel in to show her a surprise that she's been working on. She covers her face with her hands, telling her that she can just see through her hands. Chloe guides her, telling her to close them for a few more seconds, and then presents the surprise. She shows a newly renovated camper, asking, isn't she just the sexiest transportation beast? This way we won't have to spend any money. Who needs planes, trains, and hotels when we have Gladys here? Rachel asks, what about Max? And Chloe tells her that Max was going to come, but that was before. You know, am I a bad person because half of me wants Max to stay? Over at the beach, Max sits down with Tristan, telling him that she's trying to tell herself that the transect that brought her here was for a reason. She's in this reality for a purpose. But these flickers, they're supposed to be just a taste of another reality, but the ones here feel different, always have. They're more solid. Tristan reaches into his pocket, stating that she said that a photograph was what helped her open the transect, right? Maybe this will be useful. She takes the folded up newspaper article, and as she looks at it, she says that this is about her friend's murder. Tristan says, yeah, this was the photo taken just after he disengaged for the first time. But that's not what's important. Look at the date. It's the day that Max arrived. And Tristan asks, what if she made the jump, but she wasn't pushed through? She was pulled. What if he's the reason she ended up here? She hands back the clipping, stating that she gave up trying to look for answers. She gave up even asking the questions. She might be able to rewind things, but what she's experienced here is precious because her Chloe would kill her on sight if she let another person die. No more making those kinds of choices. Just need to get home, the real one. So later that night, she meets up with Rachel to bring some food home, when Rachel stops her asking, what was she like? Max asks what she's talking about, and Rachel asks her, the one who died, the me who died. What was she like? What did she do to? Max says that she never actually met her. She felt like the only one who hadn't met Rachel, but she was like some ethereal being, definitely no angel. Chloe never gave up on her. Chloe fought for her. Rachel says that they both did, but who was the girl that they fought for, the one that they found? Were they alike? Max tells her that she didn't become that girl because she already didn't. She's safe and alive here. Maybe the Amber that she didn't know made some bad choices. Maybe she was a victim of circumstance. Maybe she didn't deserve what happened, but she lived a very different life. Rachel nervously laughs, asking, and what about them, though? The memories of being here. And Max tells her, whatever happens, she gets to keep those memories. For what it's worth, if she could live both lives at the same time, she would. Meanwhile, back at the beach, Tristan is continuing to try and practice his ability when he notices somebody sitting beside him. The girl looks back and Tristan asks, Chloe? As soon as Max gets to work, she rushes to the beach and stands there in awe. What is she feeling? She can't even process it all. She sees Chloe in her dreams all the time, but is she chasing a dream of a ghost? Max squeezes Tristan's hand, maintaining the connection, and Tristan says that this is the second night in a row, the same place. It's like this Chloe doesn't see him. Max asks, what is she doing here? Or are they there? As if responding to the question, Chloe turns to look at the two of them, and Max calls out asking if she can see them, closes her eyes, and she turns away. Also, at the same time over at the garage, this reality's Chloe and Rachel talk with Pixie as they get the last of the preparations ready for the road trip when Chloe suddenly feels a splitting headache. Pixie asks if everything's all right because it looks painful, and Rachel tells her that Chloe will be fine. It looks worse than it really is. We'll be okay. As Pixie is leaving, Rachel looks back at Chloe, seeing her nose bleeding, asking, what the hell is going on, Chloe? Back at the beach, Max reaches out for her Chloe, telling her to wait, but the image of Chloe begins to flicker. Max looks back and Tristan roots himself as his nose begins to bleed, telling Max, I'm fine, just keep going. Max yells, they don't know for sure. They have to let her go. It can't be like this, not at anyone else's expense. And as Tristan sits back up, he rubs his head. Max says that she knows something that she didn't know before. Her Chloe is looking for her, isn't she? The next day, Tristan meets with Max, telling her that he saw what she did. She was turning back in another reality. That's why they saw those images of Chloe rewinding. Max tells him that she knows, and it nearly killed him and hurt this reality's Chloe in the process. So Tristan tells her that what he felt back there was strong. Her power is there. Even if the flicker is just a window, he can open that window for her. Don't ask how, but he can feel it. Doesn't she want to go back to her world? Doesn't she want her Chloe? Max says that she doesn't know. If she could open the door again, she would. But if a flicker did that to him, then they're not ready yet. When they do this, it has to be right. It will be right. Tristan tells her to give him a week. That's all he'll need. He'll get stronger. He knows that he can do this for her. And he'll come with her. Max asks, what? No, you belong here, in this reality. Tristan tells her that he isn't sure that's true. All he's done is make a mess. But even if it is, does she regret her time here seeing the alternatives? Max sighs, telling him no, she doesn't. So Tristan prepares, and Max spends time with Chloe to try and make lasting memories of her, taking selfies of them. Max hands over the picture, and Chloe asks what will happen when she leaves. Will she vanish from the picture like Back to the Future? Max tells her that she isn't sure. She doesn't think so. That would be crazy, right? She doesn't ask too many questions because it hurts her brain. Chloe lets out a sigh, telling her that this whole thing feels weird. Like deja vu. Like she knew the lyrics to the High C song before she heard it. It's the same crazy connection when she saw her Chloe the other night. That flicker. It's hard to fight her naturally selfish tendencies, but she knows her part in all of this and she promises to try. So later that night, as everyone gathers on the beach where the flicker happened, Tristan says that he can feel something. Chloe says that she's okay. This is different. It's not a flicker. And soon Max blinks and suddenly she's taken away to the transect. In the real world, Max's body begins to fade, and as Chloe reaches out to her, Rachel stops her, telling her to remember what Max said. Any physical contact could be dangerous. As Tristan groans, he too begins to fade, leaving just Chloe and Rachel. In the transect, Max looks at all of the realities because this feels wrong, like she shouldn't be here. At that moment, one of the shards of reality comes crashing down and Tristan runs and tackling her out of the way. He asks if she's okay and Max tells him probably not. Tristan gets up looking around asking what is all of this? The enormity of it all is just hitting him. So many paths, so many infinite possible choices. Max tells him it's different than before. These are all realities that could have been hers. But Tristan begins to feel something. And he says that he helped open the door, but he doesn't think that he is supposed to be here. His body slowly begins to fade, and Max says that she's pretty sure that neither of them are supposed to be between realities. How do they get back? Out in the real world, Tristan appears without Max, and Chloe shouts, asking, where is she? Where is Max? Tristan realizes what she said, and he concentrates. He's trying to go back. And once he gets inside, he grabs Max by the hand, telling her, I can't go back that way. That's why I'm here. Max looks up at one of the shards and sees Chloe, her Chloe, and Max yells that it's her. The two begin to run towards that shard, to that reality, and as Tristan reaches out, he disappears. But Max, she passes through it. She looks back and she sits down. Right, I was never in control, was I? There's an odd peace in that. Maybe this is how it was always meant to be. At that moment, she feels something pulling at her, and Chloe pulls her back onto the beach. As blood drips from her nose, she asks if she did something back. Max shakes it off, telling her no, she did fine. It wasn't right, and she saved her. Everyone looks back at the empty spot where Tristan was, and Rachel asks what happened to him. Max says that he's gone, but he made it, so she now knows it's possible. But while Max continues her pursuit and trying to make it back into the transect on her own, her Chloe, back in her reality, is writing a letter. She's writing another letter that might hopefully get to her. But she will continue to be there as a light for Max to come home. She will be her lighthouse. She loved her ghost. She never stopped, and she is still writing. Love, your Chloe. And as Chloe puts down her pen, she looks up as someone walks towards her. Hello? And there you have it. The journey of Max trying to get home is still going on. But the issue with this comic series, if you didn't know, is that initially it was just going to be one volume. At least that was the vibe I got with it. Just a nice continuation to the story of Max and Chloe. But it became hugely popular. For a smaller comic book company like Titan Comics, this was a big hit. So they decided to keep the series going. Not a bad thing, but that did mess with a lot of the release cycles for it. And that's why there was a huge gap for me between Volume 2 and 3, because 3 took like 6-7 months to actually come out, and at that point, almost no one really cared about Life is Strange because I think we were all waiting for the third game to drop. But now that the third game is out, I've decided to get back to Life is Strange because while I don't expect this to get too many views, there is a lot of you on this channel who want to know what is going to happen to Max and Chloe. Now I gotta figure out what is going on next because they decided to start a secondary series about Max and Chloe. It's like a 2.1 series. I don't fully understand how it's numbered, but I'm going to read through all of those, figure out how it goes, and then get them on the channel as soon as I can. For those of you who do enjoy this, I hope you really did enjoy this series, and I hope to talk to you real soon. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to check us out over at patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you too can vote on the series coming to this channel. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.